Ooh, I should get it like that. Ass fast and pretty like that. Girl, you need a partner for that. Yeah, you need a partner for that.
Tell you what I did last night. I came home, say around 2:45. Still so high.
187, I'm working her.
Yep, that's me. You probably wondering how the heck I got here.
Well,
your girl had surgery in Mexico. Let's take a few steps back and figure out how the hell I end up in Mexico getting a surgery. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. This is Justbrannnn official. So if you hear it, then it's officially meant to be. So I would like for you to consider subscribing to my channel. That would be very awesome. But if you don't want to, I'm glad to see you anyway, because you didn't have to be here. So I'm forever grateful. So today we're going to talk about my weight loss journey and all the things that it took to get to where I'm at now, because you saw a minute ago where I ended up in Mexico getting a surgery, right? And you want to know how I got there. So we're gonna explain how, okay? So I got my little notebook, so if you see me looking down, it's because I wrote notes. I'm kind of geeky and I like to keep stuff aligned, so if you see me looking down, it's because of that. So first off, we're gonna talk about my childhood obesity. Like, I've been big ever since I known. I just called myself big boned, even though people don't necessarily have big bones, but I consider myself big boned. So when did I just think about being big? As a child, I didn't know about being big or anything like that. It just didn't ever hit me like, oh, my weight, you know, when I was real little. But looking back, like looking at pictures, like yearbook pictures and stuff like that, I was like, dang, I had a little chunkiness to me. I had a little chunky. What's going on, girl? What did I eat? See, the thing is, we didn't eat like a lot of junk food. I was raised in the country, so we didn't eat like a lot of junk food. We had like, let's see, what did we have? We had soul food. When I say my grandma had us snapping beans every day, we had butter beans, purple hub peas, okra, tomatoes, like all that stuff. That's what we had. So I was raised on like soul food, so I guess it never dawned on me that stuff can pack on the weight too, because we didn't really have junk food like that as a child. So about 9 or 10 years old, the weight had piled up on us, and we ended up going to the pediatrician, and the pediatrician said we was overweight. Like, y'all, overweight. I was like, okay. So my mom went into commando mode. Boo, 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 boo. She put us on a diet, the strictest diet ever. And I can't necessarily remember. It might have been like a low carb. I remember her fixing tuna, having like lettuce, and having like whole wheat and whole wheat bread with like turkey meat and stuff like that. Like, we was on a very strict diet. We had lemon water. I mean, you name it, mama had us on it. So the next time we went back to the pediatrician, we had lost the 20, 30 pounds, whatever, but we was on a diet then. So I don't think I had excessive eating because some sort of disorder like depression back then or nothing like that. It's just that we didn't necessarily have like a we didn't have a restriction as far as how much we can eat. Nobody ever looked at the nutritional guides on the food and been like, well, you can only eat 1 cup of this or 1 cup of that. It was like, you eat until you got full. if you wanted more, then it was more there. It wasn't like, oh, you can't have another plate. It was like, if you want it, you get it. You know, so I don't blame nobody about that. So we're gonna get to high school. Now, high school, I was about 190, and I thought I looked good, although I thought I was kind of fat. Like, I thought I had a little fatness, but I wasn't putting myself on no diet. Like, I was content with myself. But then I got to college, and they say you gain your freshman 20. I gained my freshman 20, probably more than that, because in college I was like 220. Then later on I was like 230, and I was like, at 230 I was like, damn, I'm bad. I mean, okay, I don't use that word anymore. I'm big. So I was like, I need to do something about this. So I ended up researching different diets, and at that particular time keto wasn't around. So I started researching this thing called Eat Right for My Blood Type, where you go on this particular diet because of your different blood types, and different blood types are susceptible to different things that may contribute to weight gain and weight loss, inflammation in the body, etc, etc, etc. So my particular diet didn't allow me to have chicken or pork. And I didn't eat chicken or pork for 10 years. I did the diet for literally 10 years. Well, hold on, 9 years. I did the diet for 9 years. And I didn't lose weight. I did not. Even incorporating other stuff, I ended up doing like the HCG drops. My sister did particularly well. It's like, she did great. But the HCG drops didn't do nothing for me, even though it had a caloric deficit. It didn't do nothing for me. We was eating darn rabbit food. When I tell you, we were eating about nothing. And I wasn't losing no weight at all. I got some white in my hair. Y'all would tell me now, right? Okay, so we talked about high school. We didn't necessarily set any healthy eating goals, or I didn't set any healthy eating goals until I got in college and I was doing the different diets. I did low carb diet, Eat Right for Your Blood Type. I even like cut out milks and dairies at one point in time, and did almond milks and things of that nature. It just didn't happen the way I wanted it to. Although I did lose weight, I incorporated going to the gym, exercising, but I never would, I guess, stay very consistent. I stayed consistent with my diet, but it wasn't exercising. I had so many other things going on that I didn't incorporate the gym as much as I should have. Thinking back, like I said, I did do calorie counting. And lastly, I ended up doing keto, in which I lost 60 pounds, and I ended up gaining it all back. Like, I gained it back. So I realized that nothing really worked to my advantage, and I feel like I needed help. I was spiraling out of control. And it seemed as though I gained my most weight after I had my son. And let's just say I moved up into a different bracket. Remember I told y'all I was weighing 230, 225, 230, and was thinking I was big. After I had my son, see, I didn't gain a lot of weight. I was like 240 while I was pregnant. And I gained the majority of my weight after I had my son. I jumped from 240 to 280. Like most people, like, oh, I was gonna snap back, get back right. But your girl, she went to a whole nother dimension. Like, over there, I was 280 pounds. But, okay, I was breastfeeding, so I had to have a higher caloric intake because I was trying to produce a massive amount of milk, especially since my son had pylori stenosis the first 6 weeks, and I didn't want to do formula. I feel like God made boobs and he made them for milk, so I'm gonna give my baby the nutrition that he needs, because breast milk has a lot of value to it. That's the golden standard of milk. I'm not bashing y'all if y'all chose formula. Now, don't get me wrong. That was just my preference and what I chose to do. So like I said, after I had my son, I ended up, first off, come close. Let me tell you something real quick. So I will never in life ever eat a ciabatta bread sandwich ever again in life. Like, that helped me gain a whole lot of, they spoiled me. Like, they gave me this sandwich, this ciabatta bread sandwich. It had Swiss cheese, it had turkey meat on it, it had a tomato Mrs. Dash and mayo, and when I tell you, with some Lay's chips and a Sprite, oh, that was so good. But you know what, I've been redeemed. The Lord never give me that taste again. He took it out of my mouth because I was addicted. I was so addicted, and when I tell you, I will never eat it again because that stemmed from the majority of my gaining of weight. I was tired. That was so easy to make. I guess it was the easy part, because most time when you having healthier foods, it takes time to prep, and that was pretty easy. Throw that meat on there, throw that sandwich on there, and bam, I'm eating. Like, that's what it was. So, like I said, with keto, I gained like the majority of my weight back because I was in the middle of a career change. So I end up wasn't able to cook, and when you're doing keto, you have to cook. Like, I can't see you doing keto without prepping and cooking, because if you don't prep, you're gonna fail, and that's just gonna be dead on that. Like, you're gonna fail if you don't plan to succeed. You're gonna succeed to fail, or however they go. We're gonna have a video about how I feel keto, and it's not that I missed any food. It's not that I missed any food, because I could have anything that I want. I just had to modify it. And I did a really good job of modifying it. I guess it was just the consistency and things. Like I said, in the middle of my career change and things that I was doing, I didn't have time to prep. I didn't have time to prep my food or anything of that nature, so I decided to take the easy way out. And at first, it snuck up on me because I would go to this Mexican spot. I thought I was doing something. They had $5 burritos, so I used to open my burrito up and eat the meat. And then one day, someone like, "Girl, you should have a bite of that burrito." And that's where I fucked up, because it was easy and it was $5, and that was life for a minute, especially when I was studying for long periods of time and away from home for long periods of time. It took a toll, and my weight started to gain, to bam, I'm back at 280 again, 288. Don't judge me. I'm just being transparent with you. Maybe I can help you. So mentally, how did it affect me mentally? It affected me tremendously, because the more weight I gained, the less confidence. I wouldn't necessarily say I never lost confidence, but looking back at pictures, I was confident when I shouldn't have been confident. I just said it like that because I was big. Like, I might insert a picture or something like that, but that was embarrassing just to look back at it, you know. And sometimes you can smile through your depression, because I was depressed. I ain't gonna say a lie. I went through so many different feelings, and it was tiring to go upstairs and be breathing hard. Can't chase after your kids, too tired to want to play with them, always being mean, you know, just in a messed up kind of mindset. Like, I didn't like that. How did I find out about weight loss surgery? Well, one day, y'all, one of my friends or my sisters, somebody, they sent me this thing on YouTube, not YouTube, on Instagram, and it was about somebody getting snatched in their BBL, and they was having a live Q&A where people was asking questions, and the doctor or the lady was like, what are your BMI limits? I don't think I'm in your BMI limits, and I really want my body done, etc, etc, etc. I remember so vividly this doctor saying, get a sleeve. He said it as though it was nothing. Meanwhile, I didn't know what the hell a sleeve was. Get a sleeve. So I did some research. I researched up until the last moment of my surgery. And so that's how I found out about gastric sleeve per se. And then I started joining. Okay, I found out about the sleeve and I researched. I googled, tried to find out what a sleeve was. I figured out that it was gastric vertical gastrectomy vertical sleeve. That's exactly what it was. And so I was like, dang, I'm gonna get that. So I did more research to see if my insurance covered it, in which my insurance did not cover it. So I was like, dang, I wonder how much this costs. So I did research around the area, and it costs about $12,000 to $16,000 to pay out of pocket. And I was like, I want that, but I don't want to pay that amount of money for it. So, but like seeing people results and the amount of time it took to get there, y'all, that excited me. Them people was snatched to the gods, to the Lord. They was snatched, y'all. And I remember going on, see, I use Facebook when I'm on there, when I'm not deactivated. I use Facebook as a resource technique or tool. I don't use it as a social media outlet because there's so many different resources. There's so many different groups that you can learn a whole lot, kind of like YouTube. So I went to search for gastric sleeve groups, and then they end up having the RNY groups, the bypass and gastric sleeve group, or just any bariatric surgery groups, and I joined several of them, and I saw several people getting the sleeve, getting bypass, and becoming healthier, happier, excited, you know, and to later they getting plastics, BBL, breast augmentation, things of that nature to improve their body image, and also boost their confidence. So like I said, I went on the research, and then I end up seeing a lot of people from going to Tijuana. Like, it's a thing. It's a group called I Left My Stomach in Mexico. So I joined there, and I saw other groups post up about other people in the groups post things about being going to Mexico. So I researched going to Mexico. It was like 3 places that I saw that did it, but one thing stuck out in particular. It was a few sisters, I'm just gonna say how it is, a few sisters that I saw that looked damn good, and they said they went to a Slimmer Me. Like a Slimmer Me, they name stuff like that over there. Oh well, let me go research. So I researched and I ended up finding their Facebook group on Facebook, obviously, and I joined, and I saw that people were looking really, really, really good, and they always had positive reviews. I didn't see anything bad. I didn't see any negative, no negative connotations or anything like that. Not even talking bad about the doctor, the physician, or their experience. Now, some people might have had some bad experiences, but it wasn't no deal breaker to me, because of it might have been modest to me, but it could have been the world to them. So with that being said, the application process. How did I reach out to them? Oh, they had a coordinator. Her name was Lizette. And y'all, I bothered Lizette for a whole year. I asked her so many damn questions. She knew me by name when I got there. She like, hold on, are you? I'm like, yeah, that's me. I'm sorry I bothered you for a whole year, but you know, I just had to know. I needed to know. So that's how that happened. So y'all want to know my thoughts about weight loss surgery. Initially, I didn't think, all I knew was about dieting. Nobody ever talked about like surgery. That was never a topic. So I never had a thought about it. And even years ago, I remember bypass, I was thinking it was for older people, older big people. And I never took the time to research the surgery that people was having on my 600-pound life. Never did. I just knew that they was having a surgery. They was gonna get smaller. Never did the extensive research. But it hit home after countless of times of just losing, gaining. That took an emotional toll on me. Like, to gain weight, to lose weight, to gain weight, to lose weight, to gain weight. That was very tiring. So you probably want to know, did I get the sleeve? That's the big question, right? Did I get the sleeve after researching for a year? No, I did not. I got the mini bypass. I was so indecisive. That was like one of the hardest decisions of my life. After researching was so very long, I decided to get a mini bypass. And you might be like, what's a mini bypass? Why didn't you get the sleeve after researching it so long? Well, I scheduled my surgery like in March. And no, I scheduled it in February, and my surgery date was April 27th. And in between that time, I started to develop acid reflux. And when I tell y'all, it was horrible. Like, my chest was burning bad, and I was like, I started doing more research, and I saw that a lot of people were getting revisions after several years of having a gastric sleeve because they developed acid reflux. And that ain't nothing to play with, because if I felt that pain then, I definitely didn't want that pain after they cut 70 to 80% of my stomach out. I didn't want that at all. Yeah, we gotta stay hydrated. So if you see me drinking, mind your business. I gotta stay hydrated. So like I said, I ended up getting a mini bypass. A mini bypass is a one animosis bypass where it connects your small intestines up. And I get into a video if you want to know what a mini bypass is, the benefits, side effects, all that stuff. I'll do a video about that. But that's a particular procedure that I had. And I chose a doctor, Dr. Andrade. I may have pronounced his name wrong, but I'll probably put it on the screen somewhere. I chose him because he had very good reviews. They do have another doctor named Dr. Lopez. And another doctor, I don't know his name, but I saw Dr. Lopez and Dr. Andrade like most of the time. They want to call themselves the sleeve king and the sleeve boss or whatever like that. But even talking to the physician and looking at his videos, because he had videos on YouTube as well, he made it very apparent that if you deal with acid reflux before, then your best procedure would be the mini bypass so that you can bypass the acid reflux, you know. So, why do people choose to go out the country to have surgery? In particular, the gastric sleeve or any bariatric surgery? Well, for one, it's least costly. For two, their insurance may not cover it. And for three, they might not have to go through all the stipulations. Do you know here in the United States, certain insurance require you to be on a 6-month program? And which is not a bad thing if that's what you want to do, you know, but it's a tedious program, and if you gain 0.1 pound, you have to start over, you know, and that was kind of stressful, in which I did go meet with a surgeon here where I'm at, and I didn't want to go through that long process. I wanted it because, I had already done research for a year. I didn't want to wait a whole another 6 months to get to where I was going. So I ended up paying out of pocket 2 months ago. I saved up, paid out of pocket, and trust and believe me, it wasn't no $12,000 to $16,000 that I paid to go there, even with flights included. I would tell y'all about my experience when it comes to that. I chose y'all how I chose the facility. Like I said, they didn't have any bad reviews. So things that helped me choose the place, obviously I weighed the pros and the cons. Did research on the doctor, made sure that he was certified, had all his certifications, see when the last time he was certified, made sure that he was competent in doing the surgery that he was, you know, that I wanted him to do. And he passed all that with flying stars, and I didn't see anything about a death. Death to me is like for me. So we talked about that. So like I said, mentally, it just was depression, you know, being mean, being frustrated with people, and all of that took a toll. So that's kind of like the rundown of how I ended up in Mexico having the surgery. So look forward to my next video, and I will go into depth about where did I go, how did I book my surgery, my plane tickets, things of that nature. That's gonna be on my next video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment, share with your friends. I really like you, and you should like me too. So that is the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed.
I know my lady, she been doing wrong, and my friends say I'm crazy, 'cause I just can't leave her alone.